Wildfire 2015. We talked first about choosing a staff, getting a staff that fits you right. You generally want it to be between your collarbone and your forehead, depending on what kind of moves you like to do. And you want to have some kind of weighted end so that it has a lot of nice momentum to carry it through. You also want to have some kind of grip so that you can have some friction on the staff. And you can have staffs of different weights, and those will feel a lot different to you. So play around with them, see what feels right. We covered some basics, like our planes. This is our front plane versus our side plane. We talked about some different ways that the staff can move. So we can have a wrap where the staff goes around a part of the body. This is a wrist wrap. We can do an elbow wrap. We can do a neck wrap. And we broke those down a little bit more in the rest of class. We can also have just a basic spin. We can have a roll where the staff goes up and down the arms, either by tilting our arms up and down at an angle, or by pushing and pulling our arms and using that friction to drive the motion of the staff. We also talked about a contact spin, like we use in a palm spin, where the staff is spinning on a flat surface. That also applies for a duck out or a body wrap. We talked about using a push to apply off-center force to the staff, like this, to make it move in a circle. So we're getting ourselves off of the center point, pushing it around. We can also do this horizontally, and we use this to drive the staff into a circle. We can also do that from this elbow catch, like that. And that's a nice way to get into a lot of the moves that we go into later. And finally, we talked about the toss, and how you want to match the speed of the staff as it falls down so it doesn't just bruise your wrist, because that's quite painful. So then we went into a few combinations of those components. We talked about a move called a Steve that looks like this. And we broke that down into its parts. We start with a underhand grip on our native side, and we bring it up above our head. This long end goes around, 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 further than you think, drops onto the wrist, and it rolls down, does a neck wrap, and then rolls down the other side. So we get step 1, step 2, and step 3. We can also combine those in different combinations. So we can come around here, go up, and around again. Things like that. So there's a lot of variations you can add in to mix it up. We then moved on to talk about the conveyor belt. So this is a move, so it looks like this. And we started with going over the elbow, so making a nice table here, tossing the staff over so that the center point lands right in the middle of that crook there. And then we unfold the arm as it comes off, and we've spent a lot of time on this unfolding motion. Keeping the staff in our front plane and unwrapping onto the wrist. Once it gets here, we transfer it to the other wrist and we pull it back in the same way. So again, it's that kind of motion. And then as it comes off, we catch up the other hand. You can loop this continuously by placing it on top of the other hand, or the other elbow here. You can also do that with a toss, going underneath. So those are some variations to work on there. Part of that we included was the wrist wrap, and that's where we take the staff in this overhand grip on the native side. The staff flips up to land on the back of our wrists. We match our hands back to back so our thumbs are together, and it flips over onto that hand. This hand then scoops over to match it. Again, thumb to thumb, back to back. Staff flips over there, and it ends up looking like this. So the staff is always dropping onto the back of my hand. And this is a nice way to carry the staff, get into a lot of those patterns. We also talked about our halo roll. So we're taking the staff with the center center mark on our palm and bringing it behind us so that it's in this side plane, or front plane. We're turning towards it so that it can land on our shoulder. Popping it up, as it comes over, we turn towards where it's going so it lands over this shoulder. And catch it here, like this. And from the back. So the key things we focused on here were turning towards it so it has a shoulder to land on, and then turning with the staff as it comes around, again giving it a shoulder to come over. Otherwise it's just going to roll down the back of your arm. We finally talked about some pinch points and locks that you can use to control the staff without using your grip. One of them was the elbow one we talked about, where you can go up here and into that steve. We also talked about using a neck lock here, being able to do a neck wrap here, being careful not to get the staff, jammed up in that crook of the neck, because that can hurt there. So we talked about that one. We talked about a hip lock here. So this hip is a nice control point if you have good balance. So we take the staff just like we were doing a halo. It comes across, knee comes up, and back. You can knock that back into your elbow if you want. There's some variations there. And then we talked about this funny little lock here that you want to definitely warm up your wrists for, because this can hurt a little, especially if your staff is heavy. We take our hands, bring our elbow over, and because we're off center, we've got this point pushing up, point pushing down, gravity over here. We can actually hold the staff out with that hand. So that's pretty much what we covered in intro contact staff, and we hope that you'll come back next time and learn more.